Hey, SNF here, welcome back to another Apex Legends video. In today's video, we'll be talking about some buffs and nerfs that will be implemented to legends such as Caustic, Lifeline and Revenant. According to lead designer Daniel Z. Klein, who spoke at length about the Apex Legends metagame in a Reddit thread on May 18th, Caustic is certainly on the buff list heading into the next Season 9 update in a bid to save the Trapper. Caustic's win-loss ratio has barely changed since his nerf, it went from 5.1% to 5.0%, the Apex Legends designer explained. His pick rate, however, dropped a lot. The common explanation is that only Caustic mains stuck around after the nerf. That kind of self-selection undid a lot of the impact of the nerf after that update. There are two options now, first is simply to boost the toxic Trapper's damage again and let him go wild. Instead, they'd rather have a toy around with Caustic's non-damage outputs, especially when it comes to how they can tweak his gas gameplay. Klein added, "I want us to spend more time thinking of these possibilities first. The goal is to make players terrified of his gas again and try to leave as soon as possible. That's currently not the case, and we will fix that," Klein said. Now moving on to Lifeline. Lifeline received some pretty hefty changes with the debut of Season 9, and while the devs are happy with her overall performance, there are concerns over how dominant she's become. Lead game designer for Apex, Daniel Klein, has responded to fan questions about Lifeline's current status. He said, "She's performing a little too well. Numerically, she's too strong. She wins too often, both across the game as a whole and in every single skill bucket we look at, and she's picked very often, particularly in arenas," Klein wrote, but highlights that this doesn't mean Respawn must nerf her right away. In terms of the main body of the rework, though, it seems like she's performing exactly as the devs wanted. Experientially, she's so much better. No longer having the res shield means it's feasible to thirst a downed enemy being revived, but that also gives Lifeline an option to engage you while you're otherwise occupied or when your gun's running dry. Maybe we need to nerf her numerically a little bit, like drone heal speed or ultimate cooldown. Maybe we can look at her hitboxes and see where they're too small, but right now, no plans to speak of, he said. It is certain that Lifeline is set for a nerf. Moving on to Revenant. According to the devs, the buffs they've been cooking up for the popular synthetic nightmare should see him climb to the top in Season 9 without making him a must-pick character after the changes. "Revenant's still weak, we have a set of changes we're trying out internally, and they feel fun and fine," one Apex Legends dev said. Klein admitted he's not in a position to lift the lid on the possible buffs and changes just yet, but did offer up a clue in the middle of his promise. "I can tell you he'll certainly climb to the top," he teased. This may suggest, on top of a guarantee Revenant may be a little more playable once the Season 9 buffs ship, his upgrades may also come in the form of some passive changes, including his wall-running abilities. The Apex Legends dev concluded by warning fans the planned Revenant buffs may not move the needle on power a lot, but will hopefully actually give players a reason to pick the struggling simulacrum. That's all from me, see you guys in the next one.